It's reported that the UN Commission of Inquiry on Syria reiterated a call on the United States and all parties to conduct credible, independent, and impartial investigations into incidents entailing civilian casualties in Syria, and to ensure that those responsible for violations are held accountable. Do you have any comment?
5年前
5 years ago, the U.S. forces, using the fake and flawed intelligence of a staged video by White Helmets as evidence, conducted the so-called most accurate airstrikes in Syria, killing more than 1,600 innocent civilians. The international community has been calling for investigations into the killing of civilians in the U.S. overseas military operations in Syria alone. In September 2019 and February 2021, the UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry on Syria pointed out several times in its reports that the U.S. failed to distinguish military targets from civilians in its airstrikes in Syria, which gravely violates international humanitarian law and may constitute war crimes. However, the U.S. government has been turning a deaf ear to all this. According to reports, the U.S. conducted over 90,000 airstrikes in countries including Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria, which may have killed up to 48,000 civilians. However, the U.S. time and again covered up the facts and refused to apologize, admit its crimes, or hold the perpetrators accountable. It tried all means to evade its responsibilities. On the drone attack of civilians in Afghanistan, a Pentagon spokesperson said in December 2021 that no U.S. soldier will face disciplinary action over it. According to U.S. media, at the end of last year, as disclosed by U.S. media at the end of last year, from 2014 to 2019, the U.S. military turned its guns on farmers in the middle of harvest, children playing in the streets, families fleeing from the fighting, and villagers taking shelter in the buildings. These heinous crimes were deliberately concealed, whitewashed, classified, and shelved. The U.S. media, based on over 1,300 confidential reports from the U.S. military, concluded that in the airstrikes launched by the U.S. in many Middle East countries, the number of civilian casualties is profoundly undercounted. Larry Lewis, head of the U.S. Navy Analysis Center, said that since September 11th, civilian casualties as a result of U.S. operations happen almost every week, and the U.S. government has always been negligent on this issue. The U.S. has also tried to obstruct the International Criminal Court's investigations into the U.S. war crimes in Afghanistan. Everyone, regardless of his nationality, ethnicity, religion, and values, are equal and precious. The U.S. should respond to the strong appeal by the international community and carry out credible, independent, and impartial investigation over the civilian casualties because of its airstrikes and hold those perpetrators accountable.